Okay. Can we see my screen? Is my screen visible, please? Awesome. All right. So let's dive back in. All right. Apologies for the break in transmission. As they say, it was due to technical difficulties. Okay, so back to where we were. So we're talking about AI and the job seeker. Okay, so we're providing an overview. Okay, so in the past, there was a lot of reliance on limited information. All right, there was, I mean, like I said, we wanted to recruit 10 graduate trainees, and we advertised this vacancy. In 2 weeks, I had over 2,000 CVs. Okay, it was it was it was it was an uphill task, to say the least. Okay, recruitment is now data driven. It's leveraging on smart technology. AI now reviews resumes, conducts interviews. I remember when AI came out, they promised us that AI will not interview human beings. Guess what? They lied. AI now conducts interviews, okay? Especially if you apply for global jobs. I mean, I've had to sit down in front of several AI interviews. I'm serious. It was not funny. And what's it called? God bless you if you are doing AI interview with our Nigerian internet. All right, you will hang. AI will ask you the same question like 5 times. Okay, it was not funny, but that's the reality we find ourselves in today. Okay, so in order to cope with this, you have to understand how AI works. Okay, if you understand how AI works, then you can get noticed in the global job market. Okay, so the purpose of this session is to help us strategically position ourselves, tailor our series, and be prepared for AI screening, AI interviews in a world where, I'm sorry, machines now determine employment. I wonder how we found ourselves in this situation, okay, where machines are, it was easy before. So if you find out that Miss Peace is the HR manager of the company you are applying to, you can look her up, take your name to your prayer altar, and you pray for favor before Mrs. Peace. Now, I don't know how we're going to pray for favor against in front of AI, okay? Because I don't know. It's we're learning as we go ahead, but it's just a funny situation in and of itself. All right. So we're going to take a deep dive on the fundamentals of AI and its capabilities. We're going to understand AI's impact in the labor market, understand the skill gaps, and future skill requirements. All right. So let's dive into it. Look, technology is at the heart of every hiring process, okay? From how we submit resumes, okay, to um, the application journey, okay? So we need to understand these tools, all right? Now we'll look at how things were done before and how they are done now. Look, prior to now, on average, for every single job application, the hiring manager receives maybe like about 250 applications per role, okay? Now, they spend back in those days, we spent like maybe 30 seconds to 1 minute reviewing each CV. Okay. Now imagine you have 250 CVs. Okay. And you're spending maybe about a minute reviewing each CV. The question I want to ask is, you're going to have 250, you spend 250 minutes reviewing 250 CVs. That's how many hours? Who can do the maths quickly? 250 divided by 60 minutes make 1 hour, right? So that's what? How many hours? 250 divided by 60 is what? Anyone? 250 divided by 60. Let me, 4 hours. God bless you, Shubomi. So you spend 4 productive hours just going through CVs. alone. And that is if you're that efficient, okay? 4 hours of your productive day reviewing CVs, okay? Choosing who you interview, and then if your CV makes it, let's say out of 250 CVs, right? 100 CVs meets the requirements for the role. Then you now conduct phone interviews, right? For 100 CVs. Now, if you spend an average of 5 minutes on the phone with each candidate, so 5 minutes multiplied by 100 CVs or 100 candidates, that is what? 500 minutes. So 500 divided by 60 is what? How long are you spending on phone interviews? Anyone? Let's me quickly do the maths. 500 divided by 60. So you are spending an average of 8 hours. 8 hours, 20 minutes. God bless you, Shubomi. So you spent 4 hours screening CVs, right? You spent 8 hours, 20 minutes on phone calls. That's 8 plus 4, that's 12 hours just screening and doing preliminary interviews, right? And let's say out of the 100 CVs, you 100 phone interviews, you invite maybe 20 for physical interviews or virtual interviews, as the case may be. Each interview takes maybe about an hour, right? So if you use an hour for interviews for 20 candidates, that's 20 hours. 20 hours. You see how much time it took to close out one recruitment, all right? Because the entire process was human to human, okay? Now the game has changed, okay? Once you submit your CV online, an AI system would receive it first. This system is called an applicant tracking system. The job of this this applicant tracking system is to sort your resume, okay? It's going to extract the information from your resume, right? And score this information against the requirements of the job. And at the end of the day, it's going to rank you against other applicants. So for example, let's say, I'm not going to go to the requirements, details of the requirements now, but let's say 250 people applied. It's going to rank the 250 people against the requirements of the job, okay? And then he's going to score them and rank them against other applicants. So somebody applies and the person can find out that, oh, they are number 40 in rank amongst all the 250 people that applied. Okay. Now, if you qualify through the first stage, the next stage you may pass through will be to face an AI or video interview where, and the way AI interviews is different from the way human beings interview. I must state this, okay? Because AI looks at different things that a human being will look out for. Things that you could probably escape with a human interviewer, the AI will stop you right there, all right? And the statistics are sobering. About 70% of resumes are rejected by AI before any human being sees them. And guess what? On the global market, 88% of organizations now use AI in their hiring process. Okay? So, yes, AI, it's useful, it's practical, but if you don't understand AI, you will find out that you just wouldn't get, your CV will not get past AI. So, what is it? Okay? This AI, we've established that they're called applicant tracking systems. Okay, so I mean, in the global markets, Workday, Talio, Greenhouse, Lever, IC, IMS, and Bamboo HR. All right, these are like some of the most popular AI ATS and applicant tracking systems. Okay, that replace the manual process of reviewing CVs. Okay, so we're going to talk about how AI actually goes about it. So when you understand how AI goes about it, it will help you. You know, some people say, oh, I keep applying for jobs. Nobody calls me for interviews. I don't understand what's going on, blah, 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 blah. I mean, you need to understand how AI is programmed to work so that you can position yourself not to get, screened out by AI, in your job application or in the job of getting a job, as we established earlier on. All right. So the first step that AI does when you submit your CV, the first thing that AI does is what you call document parsing. Okay. AI attempts to read your resume or your CV, and it sort of like sorts the information into structured fields. So it would sort it by your contact information. And I must state this, Kai, should I say this? Ah, but I'll say it nonetheless. So I play in the global job market. I try to apply for global jobs. And you know the truth, sadly, people say AI is not biased. AI is not biased. It's a lie. Let me tell you guys straight up, AI is very biased. Okay? Anybody that tells you AI is not biased is lying to you. I'm telling you the truth. You know what biases AI? AI is biased by the what's it called? By the data you give it. Okay, so whatever data you give AI is the what information AI will work with. So if sadly you have a preference for non-African, non-black candidates, you have a preference for candidates from Europe, America, and Asia, right? The truth is automatically AI or the applicant tracking system would naturally have a bias for candidates from Europe, America, or Asia. It is what it is. Okay. AI is not a bigot, is not a racist, is not whatever you call it. But if the people on the back end are racist, ethnocentric, and tribal bigots, it will skew AI to prefer to the preferences of the end users. That is just the way it is. For those that know how programming works, it's garbage in, garbage out. Okay? AI works with the information you give it. AI works with the data you give it. So if you have a preference for male candidates, guess what? The applicant tracking system or the AI running the applicant tracking system would naturally filter out more female candidates compared to male candidates. That is what it is. Okay. Anyways, I don't want to go into the bias behind AI. They lied to us that AI is objective, is biased. I kid you not, AI is not objective. AI is not free of bias. Anyway, that's another topic for another day. Okay. So AI would extract the information, right, based on the fields that were provided, all right. Education, work experience, skill, certification, and even country of origin. Okay. Now, the problem comes where AI cannot parse your resume correctly due to now some people in their CVs they use certain fonts that AI cannot read. If you use all those fancy fonts, right, AI will not be able to read it or it will read it wrong. For example, your CV says project manager Chinedu and Sons Limited. Okay, maybe you now use a fanciful font to write project manager, right? AI will now read your job title. Instead of reading your job title as project manager, it may end up reading your job title as Chinedu and Sons Limited. I don't know if anybody gets what I just said. Okay, so please make it easy. Okay, when you're talking to AI or you're presenting your CV for AI to be able to read, Make it as so easy that a 5-year-old will understand your CV. Remove your fancy. I have two CVs. I'm going to say this. I have the CV I present when I am giving my CV to a human reviewer. And then I have the CV I present when I'm presenting it to an ATS or AI. All right. The CV that I present for ATS applications, I see that CV is not fine. In fact, it's ugly as far as I'm concerned. You know, the kind of person I am. I like a fizzy. I like, my CV has, if you see my CV, is beautiful. Okay. It has colors, it has tables, it has, pictures, it has everything in there. That's the CV I give when I'm giving a human reviewer. But if I'm uploading my CV on an applicant tracking system, it's a different CV. That CV, there's no table, there's no fancy fonts, there is nothing. The CV is just straightforward. I make it so easy that any ATS can pick out the information that it's supposed to pick out. All right. I hope what I'm saying is making sense to us. And then step 2, after parsing the document, AI looks for certain keywords. Now, let me tell you, it's not sophisticated. Okay. What AI does is that it will count the required words or keywords. It will count how many times they appear in your resume. For example, if the job description says project management as a skill, do you know what it's going to do? AI is going to count how many times project management shows up in your CV. If the job requirement says customer relationship management, you know what AI is going to do? AI is going to count how many times customer relationship management showed up in your CV. Now, sometimes some of us will abbreviate customer relationship management to what's called CRM. Okay. But if AI was not programmed with CRM as a keyword, right, it's not going to count how many times you mention CRM. It will only count how many times you mention customer relationship management. Okay. I hope what I'm saying is making some sense. So you need to, in order to beat this, you need to read the job description clearly. Gone are the days where you have one JD for all applications. Okay. If this application states that we need compensation and benefits as a key requirement for this role, you are going to have to punctuate your CV with the word compensation and benefits. If AI does not see comp and ben in your CV, your keyword matching score will be low. Not because you don't know it, but because you didn't put it in there. All right. Moving on. Next thing it does is that AI will score and rank your CV. So based on those keyword matches, based on the criteria that AI was giving, that criteria could be your education, your experience, and other criteria. It's going to assign a score. Okay. Now, this may be a percentage match or a simple ranking against other candidates. So some systems will allow recruiters to set like a minimum threshold. Say, for instance, they will only present candidates who score 70% or higher. All right. So what that means is you could be a perfect candidate, but if your resume, like I said, doesn't contain the right keywords in the right format, your score will be low and you will never get seen. It's not your village people low. It's simply because. So now, if somebody says they are going to help you prepare your CV, please, I won't say don't waste your money giving it to them, but any CV you prepare, tell them to give you in editable format, because for every job application, you will have to edit or customize your CV to match the keywords for each role. So look, the job of getting a job is, in fact, getting a job is hard work now. I kid you not, because You can no longer just have, oh, give me your CV, and somebody, no, you have to customize your CV against the requirements of each job. If not, AI will just, you know, screen you out based on the fields and how it was programmed. Okay. Now, next is there are certain filters. All right. The filters could be years of experience, it could be education, it could be location, right? Whether you are willing to relocate, it could be whether you have authorization to work in the country, all right, or certain certifications that are required for the role. Okay. Now, if you do not explicitly, now I'm not saying you should lie, you please, Patrick did not say you should lie in your CV or in your application. But what I'm saying is, if the job states that you need minimum of 5 years, right? If you put 4.5 years, or 4 years and 6 months, or 4 years and 7 months, or 4 years and 10 months, okay, AI is not going to ask any question. If you don't meet up 5 years, it will just filter you out. It will give you an automatic rejection, even though there's nothing like nearly qualified. So, I mean, if it were a human being reviewing your CV, human beings can make what you call judgment calls. AI does not make judgment calls. AI works with the parameters it was given. If you don't fall within those parameters, sorry, it will just filter you out immediately. Now, if you are lucky and you get to this stage where you have, the final step, human review, okay? Trying to work with time, even though we started a bit late. What will happen is, if you make it this far, sadly, only the top ranked candidates ever get to reach a human recruiter. So let's say out of 250 candidates or 250 applicants, right? Only 15, the top 15 are, are presented to the recruitment team. So that means 15 from 250, 235 applicants never made it to the human reviewer. Okay. So, I mean, it's just an interesting situation. Now, let's look at what are those AI tools that we use. Of course, ChatGPT, Gemini, and all the generative, those ones that fall under generative AI. Okay. You can use them to rewrite your CV. Okay. Now, let me give you a hack. You can upload your CV on ChatGPT. Okay. And upload the job description. Right? Then you can ask ChatGPT to help you draft a cover letter, or to help you. Okay, so another AI does a job scan, right? It's an ATS optimization tool that will help you compare your CV to the job description and shows the keyword matches and where you need to improve your match score. Okay, but with ChatGPT or Gemini, you can write your CV, you can draft cover letters for each job. You know what you just do? Is what it works. Okay, copy the job description, put it on ChatGPT or Gemini, and then ask ChatGPT to help you draft a cover letter for that job. Okay, I don't know how many of us, you can train your ChatGPT and you can train Gemini to know you as a person. I don't know how many of us are aware of that. Are we aware? Anyone? Raise up your hand if you're aware that you can train ChatGPT. All right, great.
No, sir.
It's confirmed. Oh, you didn't know? Okay, so you can train your ChatGPT or Gemini. Okay, Femi, you have your hand raised. You want to say something? Or you're just trying to say that you can train your ChatGPT or Gemini to know you as a person. All right. Okay, Adetutu says she's aware. All right, great. So you can actually create a profile of yourself on your ChatGPT or Gemini account. Okay, so with this information about you, um, once you have any job you want to apply for, all you need to do is paste the job description on Chats GPT or Gemini, and then tell Gemini or GPT to write a cover letter for you. Okay, so based on the knowledge that Gemini or GPT has of you as a person, I think Autopilot should be able to do it as well. They will now draft a cover letter that is not generic, that speaks to your skills, your education, your experience, all right, that would sound like it won't sound generic, like, oh, this is a template chat GPT response. This response will be customized to your own personal information. All right. So you can do that. Now, I've talked about JobScan. Copy AI is an AI writing tool that is used to create a professional bio. You can use it to create a LinkedIn summary. You can use it to draft emails and personal branding content in literally seconds. Grammarly, I think we should all know Grammarly. Grammarly checks for grammar, clarity, tone, spelling, so that you can submit an error-free CV, error-free email, and error-free job applications. All right. So that these are some tools that if you didn't know, you better start using them now. Do not apply for any job without leveraging. They say you fight fire with fire. Okay. Since hiring managers are using AI to receive and screen CVs, right? Is it not better to fight AI with AI? Or am I right? Thank you, Shibomi. So since you know you're using AI, that's my advice to you. Okay, so does AI not forget the profile that would screen? So if I don't get your messages on time, maybe I've not toggled between the screen with the message. Does AI not forget the profile that would require one to remind AI of one's profile? No, AI does not forget. AI does not forget. So if you program on your own chat GPT account, all right, there is a space to what's it called? Um, I'm going to send us, maybe afterwards, I'll send us a walkthrough guide on how to customize your AI to know you as a person, to know things about you. So you tell AI what you want it to know about you. All right. And based on the information, it's like you're introducing yourself. Oh, can you introduce yourself to me, right? So you introduce yourself to AI, your AI account, like your own chat GPT. If you have a chat GPT account or a Gemini account, I use Google Gemini. Okay, so my Google Gemini knows me. He knows that I'm a career coach. He knows that I'm a HR professional. He knows that I have a radio show, a podcast. So everything, he knows that I do trainings. So any instruction I give Google Gemini, it is attending to the instruction based on the information it has about me. So if I tell Gemini to draft an application for a job, it's going to draft the application with knowing that I have a degree in law, I have a master's in HR, that I have all these HR certifications, I have XYZ years of experience in this industry, that industry. AI will put all that information together in that job application. I kid you not. That's what it does. Okay. So, yeah. If you've not trained your chat GPT or Google Gemini, start training them now about you as a person so that they can help you better. So, like I was saying, fight fire with fire, right? So you fight AI with AI. They say somebody say Koniman die now, Koniman go bury him. For those who don't get it, that's just an an adage, you know. So if they are using AI to screen you, you use AI to not to screen yourself. That's all I'll say. Okay. So know this and know peace. AI is not trying to find the best candidates. AI is designed, the applicant tracking system is designed to eliminate candidates, not to identify the best candidate. His job, simply put, is to reduce the number of applicants from 250 to 20. So he's not trying to select the best candidate. He's trying to eliminate the candidates that don't fit the bill. All right. So reason why is that companies receive far too many applications for a human being to review individually. Okay. So because one single job posting can generate sometimes thousands of applications, ATS is necessary to reduce this number. That's the truth. Sorry, whose microphone is on? Can we switch it off? I think Fall Shop okay, thank you. Fall Shop Ventures has switched off their mic. All right. So let's talk, okay? What's the most recent challenge you have had when submitting your CV or in an interview? Let's just have an interactive session, okay? Anyone who can share what's the most maybe an interesting challenge they've experienced when submitting your CV for an application or maybe during an interview? What was I shared one. I said, so there was this interview I did not too long ago. It was an AI interview and my internet was terrible on that day. Or I don't know, my internet was fine actually. My internet was very fine. But AI, you know, when AI had glitches that day, and the AI was asking me the same question, like 5 times. You know, AI said, tell me about yourself. I told AI about myself. It hung. Then AI repeated the same question, tell me about yourself. And I was like, really, what's going on here? Okay. So anyone who wants to share a recent challenge they had, either while submitting their CV or during an interview?
Please, what's an AI interview?
Okay. Adiola, that question is from you.
Yes, I've never heard of an AI interview.
Okay, I'm sorry, Adiola, you even sound like I'm speaking to AI. Is this a human being or AI? Just trying to be sure.
Why would I?
I'm sorry.
Human being. Human being.
Okay, great. I can see you. I'm sorry.
Okay.
You sounded like it was AI. I'm sorry. And I've sat down in front of AI so many times. You won't blame me for being cautious. Apologies.
Okay, no problem. No problem.
All right.
I
So
understand.
yes. So there are now, as part of the hiring process, you now have situations where candidates are being interviewed by AI, artificial intelligence. So you say, oh, the AI will introduce itself. Oh, sorry, there's a lot of background noise. Adiola, okay, great. So you have a situation where AI will introduce itself. Oh, my name is Zara. Okay, Zara was one AI interviewer that interviewed me not too long ago, and would ask you questions about your CV. Oh, you worked in XYZ company. Tell me a recent challenge you had and how you overcame it. I'm serious. So, Adiola, I kid you not, AI now interviews human beings for job roles. And later
Okay,
on,
so do you
yeah,
type the response or do you speak?
you speak, and AI would listen and give you a response, right, on the questions that it asked. That's how it happened. That's the new world of job applications and job hunting that we found ourselves in. That's it. I kid you not, Adiola. So Emmanuel's question, yes, you not update your profile, update your CV, and you don't use the same cover letter for all job applications. All right. So if you want to bypass applicant tracking systems, you have to customize your resume against the requirements for each job. I'm telling you, if you're not doing that, you're shooting yourself in the foot. Your cover letter must speak to the requirements of each job. Now with AI, it is easy. Emmanuel, you know what you do? Copy the job description, copy the role profile, paste it in ChatGPT, right? Then ask ChatGPT or Gemini to draft a cover letter for that job application. ChatGPT will now draft a cover letter that speaks to the requirements of that job. However, in order to give ChatGPT or Gemini the right context, you need to train your ChatGPT or Gemini to know you. If ChatGPT or Gemini doesn't know you, it's just going to give something generic that doesn't resonate with your skills, your experience, your education, and you as a person. All right. I hope that addresses your question, Emmanuel. Diola, I hope I was able to answer your question as well.
Yes, thank you. How do I train it to know me?
Okay, so I'm going to send a guide after this call on how everybody, I use Gemini, okay, so I can speak to Google Gemini, okay, while none of them are sponsored, neither ChatGPT or Google sponsor this webinar, but I'm just speaking based on I have recorded lots of success with Google Gemini, so I can speak from a position of experience, positive experience with Google Gemini. I will send a walkthrough guide on how we can train Google Gemini to know us, to help us in our job search. I will do that. Do you also know, maybe I'd say this, let me say this now. Do you know that you can give, I don't know of ChatGPT, I've not done this on ChatGPT, but I've done this on Google Gemini. Do you know that you can ask AI, Google Gemini, to help you look for jobs online and send you? So this is what I did. Oh, I did Dotun. You're on point though. So you can give Google Gemini what you call a reoccurring task. Okay, so you know what I did? I asked Google Gemini by 9 o'clock every day to send me remote jobs that are available for certain roles. So every day by 9 o'clock, Google Gemini sends me a list of remote job vacancies that are available for that day globally, right? In certain fields, certain disciplines, and all of that. So you can, these are things. So I mean, people use Google Gemini people use AI as if they are using Google search. It does a lot more than Google search. All right. Anyway, that's another talk for another day. Let's back to the situation at hand. So these are some common myths and facts about ATS and the reality. The first myth is, oh, if I'm qualified, ATS will recognize it. Is a lie. ATS recognizes only what it's matched in its programmed criteria. All right. Visually appealing CVs stand out. Is a lie. If you make your CV fine with pictures and blah blah blah, the ATS cannot read those creative resume templates. So all those charts, all those images, all those tables, text boxes, and complex formatting, they're just going to get lost in the crowd of information. It's not going to understand. So have a CV that has as simple formatting as possible. Okay. Those design elements may look impressive to human beings, but it can confuse your applicant tracking systems. All right. And should I list every skill that you have to maximize keyword searches? Not really. Okay. This can end up backfiring. Okay. So if you stuff your CV with keywords, the system has become sophisticated enough to penalize you for obvious stuffing. So you need to just balance it. And again, even if you pass the ATS, right, when you get to the human being, A human being can see a resume that is padded now. When you pad your resume with irrelevant skills, you lose credibility. So I'll just say, look, balance it, okay? Another myth is, oh, once I optimize my resume for 8 years, you can use the same version every time. No, 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 no. I think, is it Emmanuel or somebody that asked this question? And I repeat, hear me clearly. You need to customize your resume for each job application, or at least each type of job role. Look, if you really want to be serious, I'm serious, you need to customize your resume for each job. If you are using the same resume for every job application, you are not serious in this world of, in the job of getting a job. You are not yet serious. When I say getting a job is a job on its own, I know what I'm saying, because the competition is fierce. The competition is very fierce. You want to get a job, a good job, man, roll up your sleeve and put in the work. There's a lot of work that will go into it. All right. Some people say, oh, okay, so red flags, okay. AI screens for inconsistencies in your resume. So for example, if the dates do not align, it will just pick it up as a red flag. Okay. Now I must state this. 70% of employers, they now review your social media, your online presence using AI tools. All right. There are now AI tools that can scan your digital footprint. So please, everybody, listen to me and listen to me well. It will scan your TikTok, your Instagram, your Facebook, if you still use Facebook, your X or Twitter account. It would scan it. I'm serious. So for ladies on the call, if you
Yeah,
have,
but that is only if you put it on your CV. If it's you don't put your handles on your CV.
oh, I hope you know that sometimes now, or in most times, as part of the job application process, they ask for your social media handles. They ask for your LinkedIn. They ask for social. There are job applications that they, in fact, they listed out all the social media handles. I'm serious, Adiola. Listed out Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, X, TikTok. They, they ask candidates to post the links to their social media handles. In fact, I have been in interviews where I even asked the candidates for their social media handles. And right there in the panel interview, as they were speaking, in fact, there was this candidate, I was speaking to him, and, I went to his social media handle, and I saw on his social media handle that he was heavily tattooed. Heavily tattooed. So right there in the interview, I told him, I said, oh, I see you're heavily tattooed. We don't discriminate against people with tattoos. However, our dress code policy states that if you have visible tattoos, they must be covered. Are you comfortable with that? And the guy said, yeah, he's fine with it. He's okay with covering his tattoos. I mean, he had tattoos from his neck to his wrists, back, front, he was super heavily tattooed. So my point is,
But you have to be careful with that, or you can be discriminatory in
and
other clients other
not,
than Nigeria.
yeah. Other clients, yes. Nigeria, no. But then again, certain industries have it as a requirement, right? You cannot you can't work in an airline. It's an industry requirement all over the world. I don't know if that has changed. You can't work in an airline as a hostess if you have visible tattoos. All right. So it's an industry requirement. In some industries, yeah, they're explicit about it. You can, yeah. So something I wanted to say. So yes, if you have all those twerking videos that you thought were cute once upon a time, if your twerking videos are not considered in alignment with the brand of the company, you may end up losing a fantastic job offer because of certain things on your social media that the company cannot be associated with. And I'll give a real life scenario. I know somebody who lost a job because on his social media handle, he was sympathetic towards, I'm not going to mention names, but it was sympathetic towards an organization that was proscribed by the Nigerian government. Okay? If you can read in between the lines, I hope you can read in between the lines. I'm going to say again, a candidate lost a job offer because on his social media handles, he was openly sympathetic with a group that has been proscribed by the Nigerian government, So the company he got a job with could not be associated, their brand could not be associated with an employee who is openly sympathetic to a proscribed group by the government. Maybe that company has major contracts with the government, for example, right? And they're saying, no, our head of media, corporate comms cannot be openly sympathetic to a terrorist group or a proscribed group. So what I'm saying is what you do, what you say on social media now, it lives on. I know somebody who got a job with an IOC, an international oil company, and before he resumed, the job offer was rescinded. Why? When he was in school, he was he was an activist in student union government, and guess what he did? He spoke against the oil companies because of some of their the harmful effects of their activities in the local communities, in the host communities, and he was very vocal in how he spoke against those international oil companies. And he got carried away in his zeal. He said he would never work for any of those oil companies because of the harmful effects of their activities in the host communities. Guess what happened? They rescinded the job offer when they found out. It's easy. In fact, I know somebody very recently, I'm not lying, I know somebody very recently who got a job. And in this person's previous job, this person was accused of stealing by their company on social media. So when you run a social media search on this person, what comes out is, part of what comes out is the fact that this person was accused once upon a time of stealing from their company. Yeah. So I'm just saying we all have to be very, very careful about our online presence, because our online presence, look, 70% of employers, they now review their candidate social media and online presence. And guess what? They use AI tools to automate this review. So AI is not going to investigate whether you were declared innocent of it. So long as somebody has maligned your reputation out there, AI will pick it and say you are a reputational risk to the company. All right. So look, there are AI tools that will scan your LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, and other social media platforms for red flags, including discriminatory language, offensive content, okay, negativity, professionalism concerns, or contradictions with your resume. All right. So if you worked in a company and the company puts a newspaper publication that Mr. Charles something no longer works with us, that is a red flag. Okay. So these AI tools can rate your LinkedIn profile. They can do all these things. So recruiters use these tools to see scores when evaluating candidates. So please protect your online. Don't say, oh, you don't need to be a celebrity to protect your online presence. All right. Now, we're wrapping up soon. So please bear with me. Please bear with me. All right. Now, just like Adiola asked, AI interviews. This is how AI interviews work. They are completely different from physical interviews. Okay. They analyze, there's what you call verbal analysis. Okay. they analyze your vocabulary. Okay, so if you speak and then you use filler words a lot, like actually, okay, it's going to reduce your score. They do facial analysis. Okay, they check to see if you're making eye contact with the camera. They record your facial expressions and micro expressions and head movements and perceived confidence and energy levels. These things come to bear, and then they finally analyze your content, whether you answer the questions directly, you use specific keywords that they were hoping to, that were related to the role, and your structured thinking process. All right, vis-a-vis vague or general answers. Okay, so AI will score these dimensions and rank you against other candidates. Some systems claim to predict job performance based on these factors, though this remains, it's very controversial and is also banned in some jurisdictions due to biased consent. But what we need to know is that, look, these AI interviews, they are here to stay, and you have to be able to prepare for them. So where is the human element and in all of this, and how does that come to bear? Okay, so once you are done with all of this AI screening, your AI performance, even when you get to the human interview, still matters. All right. So some companies will share the AI assessment results with the interviewers and say, okay, maybe AI noted that you were not clear in your speech, you stuttered a couple of times. I actually got to a final stage in one job application process. Do you know what? And I was happy that they gave me feedback on why I didn't get the job. They said I didn't get the job because of my accent. I have a Nigerian accent. I'm sorry. I was raised and born in Nigeria. I don't have a foreign accent. And the job required, because the company was based in America and its clients and employees were scattered across Europe and Asia, they needed, Emmanuel, you're laughing at me. All of you that are laughing at me, I will not say God will judge you, but you are not nice. Thank you for all laughing at me. I missed out on an international opportunity simply because of my Nigerian accent. And I don't have, sorry for my Yoruba, but I don't have H factor now. Do I have H factor? I don't have H factor. I don't have, any, impediments from any dialect. Okay, False Ventures is laughing at me. Continue, everybody is laughing at me on this call. God is watching you in 3D. Well done. But my point is, I was actually disqualified, and I was happy at least they told me why. They said my tonation didn't align or didn't resonate with the audience of their clientele and employees scattered across Europe, America, and Asia. I said, oh, okay, well, thank you for the feedback. I will work on my accents. So don't be surprised with the next webinar. If you hear me speaking through my nose, I'm practicing for my global job. So please, bear with me, yeah? Okay. Okay, you guys are still laughing at me. Continue. I will get the job and I'll be laughing at you people back. Thank you. Let's go on. All right. So,
sorry, can you share what type of these jobs that you're talking about? They're remote, and what type of jobs are they?
So that one in particular was a remote business partner role for a company that's based in US, and it was an IT. Oh gosh, I'm trying to remember the business, their line of business, but there were two of them that gave me that feedback. One was an HRBP role, and their employees and clientele were basically centered in Canada, Europe, and Asia. Yes. So it was a role that would require constant interface with both employees, and it had some client service support responsibilities as well. That was the HRBP. And then there was one that was like a project manager and project operations manager role as well. And I met the technical requirements. I had the technical competencies, but that was where the challenge was. They said my intonation did not align with You know, that was what it was. I understand that Nigerians and
Second, I just want to confirm. Was this one the human person that was giving that feedback or the AI?
so for one of them, in fact, in both of them, I never got to a human face. Oh. It was all AI, all AI.
And so that's very good. So for me, anyway, I don't know how, but in as much as I'm thinking companies are making great strides by, implementing the AI thing. And I think maybe it's something that the companies also need to reconsider by putting what should we call it now? Is it linguistics or something? I know I said something in Yoruba one day on Gemini, and he replied, he understood.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I don't even know. I think the company needs, because with this one, yes, they are looking for candidates, but we human will always find a way of shutting down almost everything to make sure we get to where we are getting. And at the end of the day, they will be having wrong people doing the jobs, and then the right people are just out there just because they cannot speak phone, which is not, my thoughts anyway.
You were spot on. My phone was not up to the required phone for the job.
For
And
AI, not the human.
if you recall, I don't know if you joined in from the beginning. I said something. People think AI is unbiased. I said it's a lie. AI is as biased as the people that give it the data for what they are looking for. AI
Very
is
funny.
very biased. All right, thank you, Adetutu. Osia Eme, I'm sorry if I didn't get the pronunciation right.
Oshiakweme.
Oshiakweme, okay,
Yes.
Oshiakweme, thank you.
Well, the last point you made actually was one of the things I wanted to say. I mean, when you started, you talk about the biasness of AI. I've been opportune to do some level of, should I call it research now, in relation to that. And I can tell you for free, there are a lot of biasness in the entire system. And that's the reason why some governance people are coming up to build governance around that, whereby whatever AI you are putting in place, you should be able to put some ethical checks, whereby whatever result the AI is giving you, there should be some level of human interface, human review of the output of such platforms, so that this kind of things will not come. I mean, at the end of it, you might be the best candidate, but because of the intonation that the reference was made to, you end up losing out, and they will go and get somebody that may not even have the right qualification or technical skill for that particular role. AI is highly biased in certain ways. I've done a lot of checked on it. In fact, there are some results that it gives sometimes that are not even correct. That you have to now do it. Let me challenge the platform and say, look, no, this is not what I was expecting. I expect something in this range. Then I say, oh, okay, let me do a rethinking or a review of the output that I've produced and all that. And at the end of the day, you get the right result. So it depends, like you said, the data that the AI will be trained with, the data that are available that is using to get the kind of result, determine the output that it will get. I mean, there's something I was reading some times ago, and it talks about that if the kind of data that you are using has a preference for either a male candidate or a female candidate, at the end of the day, the result that is going to give will favor one gender against the other. So I mean, that's just the whole thing.
I don't know if you were here. I think I don't know if you were here when the session started. That's what I said. I said AI is really garbage in. It's just like any other program, garbage in, garbage out. It would work with the data you give it, and you're very correct. That's why in some cases they promised us when AI entered the recruitment space that human beings will be free from automated decision making. However, that promise and the reality are two worlds apart. Okay, there is a big gap between when AI entered recruitment. There were lots of protests, okay, and the promoters of bringing AI in recruitment was that they promised everyone, that human beings will not be subjected to automated decision making. However, we can see that what was promised and what was delivered are not are worlds apart. Thank you, Oshiakweme. Thank you, Adetutu, for your contributions. Let's try to do something practical, okay? This is an example of, like a profile from a candidate, right? Now, I'm going to state this, when presenting our CVs, or try to use, what do you call it? Instead of just saying, for example, handle customer calls, okay? You have to, and there's a framework, you have to like, say, instead of saying handle customer calls, see, you can say resolved an average of 45 customer inquiries daily and achieved a 92% satisfaction score. Okay, these metrics are the keywords that AI or the applicant tracking system is looking for. So let's say for the role of a front desk or a call center representative, right? Once you say 92% satisfaction score will be a keyword, all right? Customer inquiries will be a keyword, okay? But customer calls is not, it doesn't give any, so what I'm saying is that your resume should be more results oriented than task oriented. I think that's the summary of it, okay? Instead of just saying coordinated events with up to 700 attendees, it gives proper context to some of the experience we put out there in our CV, okay? All these are important so that we have an ATS optimized resume, okay? So, yeah, let me try and wrap up. And, okay. So, I'm going to wrap up with some of the action points, key takeaways we can do, right? And some of the key takeaways, first of all, we need to start building a strong, for those of us that are starting now, let me say this. I have a wonderful LinkedIn profile. And from the very 10 years ago, when I joined LinkedIn, I was very intentional about my LinkedIn, okay? How I networked, how I connected with people, and the content I put out there on LinkedIn. I was very intentional. So you must be intentional about your digital footprint, okay? Update your digital footprint. Clean it. If you have on any social media platform, you twerking, you speaking against the government or speaking negatively about any industry or company, please just start cleaning up your social media footprints or your digital footprints, okay? Highlight transferable skills. Use AI tools to prepare. Look, whatever job interview you're preparing for, just the same way recruiters use AI to find you, use AI resume analyzers, interview simulators, or job matching sites to understand where you stand and what to improve on. And they say, if you want to catch a monkey, think like a monkey. You want to catch AI, think like an algorithm. You better align your personal brand with what the employers are searching for, okay? And finally, we're just going to talk about what are some of the common fears, okay? Will AI take your job? No. AI will change your job, but it won't eliminate it. Jobs have been evolving since forever, and it's not going to stop, okay? If for those of us that feel they are too old to learn, that's not true. You're only as old as you think you are. For those that think, oh, my company isn't adopting AI, so you don't need to, see, look, the reality is that the number of companies adopting AI is increasing day by day. And trust me, as we go into 2026, the numbers would also increase. Just like Oshiakweme mentioned, if AI makes mistakes, is it trustworthy? My response to that is AI doesn't replace human judgment, it augments human judgment. So whatever AI does, verify all AI outputs the same way you will check a junior colleague's work. All right. Alfred, you have your hand raised. You want to make a contribution?
Yes, okay, sir. Thank you so much. So I think this statement about AI taking people's job, It's something that's ongoing. But I feel maybe is the idea is maybe just like you mentioned, maybe they are lying to us, because if you look at it in actual fact, the idea behind AI is to bring about efficiency, but there's no how you are going to implement an AI system in any organization that if people, let's say 10 people are doing a particular job now, there's no doubt that number of people will be reduced. In as much as, the idea is people have to learn new skill, so after the system where they implement AI, people have to go. So I think we are not being true to ourselves about saying maybe I will not take one people's job. Definitely people are going to lose job. There's no doubt about that. And it's a concept that I feel has been going on for a while, but maybe we are trying to sugarcoat it to make people feel like, they're not going to lose job. But I think people are going to lose job, to be realistic, when we apply AI system in any way. But yeah, like any HR person, so I just want to.
All right.
Okay, thank you very much, Patrick. You told us that you were going to tell us how to train AI to know us better. You
Yes.
haven't spoken to that. Please, can you
No,
just quickly share some tips?
Yeah, I said I would share a walkthrough, like a step-by-step guide.
Okay. All right,
Yes,
then.
I'll send
Thank
it
you.
to everybody after the
Okay.
call. Yeah,
All right,
I'll
then. Okay, so do you have plans to run any more of these programs, like, for instance, how to find remote jobs, where to
Yes.
go, and things like
Yes.
that, so that as much as we're preparing the CV, we also need to know where to go and look for these jobs, you know? You know what I
Yes, I will.
mean? So,
I know
and
what you
then
mean.
again, the tips for being able to secure interviews for these online jobs, you know, and then obviously secure the jobs themselves.
Awesome. Adiola, like we said when we started this is the first of our series, right? Of this
Okay.
career conversation series. This is here to stay, and it will be the first of the series of conversations we'll have. I would suggest, if you can follow me on social media, I have tons of resources on job tips and things about how to get a job, how to keep a job, how to thrive at your job. I share them in fun skits. Some are serious conversations. Apart from this, there's going to be a podcast as well, where I'm going to be talking to other career professionals, accomplished career professionals who would also share their career story that we can learn, career success story that we can learn from. But the short answer to your question is this is the first of series of conversations that we will be having. Please, now you've made me jump to connect with me on social media. I have tons of resources that I think will be helpful as well. My social media handles I would share after the call or at the end of this call. Are we good, Adiola? Okay. Oshakame, your hand is raised.
Yeah, thank you. I just want to make a comment on the statement the young man just raised about job losing and all that. See, it is very clear. I think it was Amazon. Amazon introduced some, I can't remember the number now, and what they did, they also invested money to train a lot of their staff to adapt to the new way of doing things within the business. Now, this is what I tell people. AI will not take your job, but the people that have understanding of AI will take your job. Because it gets to a level, for instance, I was telling somebody yesterday, I was at a function and I got talking and I was telling the person, I said, when you call some certain offices, let me use DSTV for instance, the customer or the telephone lady there will say, oh, do you know that you can actually do this yourself by using self-service and all that? What is that lady doing? It's telling you that she is no longer relevant to help you, but we have a system that can actually help you without necessarily talking to me. These are routine jobs. So the routine job, the AI will be created to take charge of those routine jobs, which is repetitive tasks that are being done every day that does not require any level of additional thinking or whatever. At the end of the day, when such business has created or implemented such solution, the next thing is that you that have been on that desk, the question that they will now begin to ask is that what other things can you do? Can you make use of the AI to better the lot of the organization or not? Then if you don't have any skill that relate to the AI which the organization is implementing, basically you will become irrelevant. So it is not actually the AI they are implementing, but because they have not been able to find another responsibility, a new role that you can key in by virtue of the skill set that you have that will make you to lose your job. And that is the reason why I encourage everyone out there when I have the opportunity to talk that, look, do not, the AI is here, it's not tomorrow. So you need to train. I mean, you made a very fantastic statement that, look, people should not say, oh, because I'm getting old, so I shouldn't learn anything again. This is a time for all of us to learn a new thing that is coming so that we can get adapted to the entire process, so that when the time comes, nobody will say you don't have the skill, and that's the reason why they are letting you go. It should be that they will look for a way to fix you in the new things happening with the organization. Thank you very much.
Awesome, Oshakpeme. I mean, you spot on. I couldn't have said it better myself. Like you said, you're not losing your job to AI. You're just losing your job to the person who knows how to use AI. Before I call Bukola, I'm going to take us on a trip down memory lane. I don't know how many of us remember how banking used to be done once upon a time. And I'll remind us, maybe for those of us that have forgotten, or for those of us that were not born in that era, okay? And once upon a time, if somebody tells you they are going to the bank, just know that for the next 4-5 hours, you're not going to see that person again. Because when you get to the bank, you first of all get a tally number. I don't know how many remember those days of tally number at the bank, okay? There was nothing automated about banking. So when you come to the bank, there's this book of life. They called it ledger at the bank. They will open that book, and start looking for your accounts manually, okay? They had like a T ledger for your account. And then when you withdraw money from your account, they will sign manually, okay? And then technology came. The T ledger was replaced by a PC, a computer. And then, you still had queues at the bank. And then now, please, who can tell me on this call, when was the last time you entered your banking hall physically? Shubami is laughing. When was the last time you needed to go into your banking hall?
I think that would be like last year, because I needed a new ATM.
ATM? Do you need to go to the banking hall to get your ATM?
The machine, yes, to make use of the machine.
The ATM machine is not the banking hall. Oh, you didn't enter the banking hall to use the ATM machine?
Some of them do, yeah.
Okay, maybe. So, point is, somebody sat down and thought about everything you need to do in the banking hall, right? From your mobile app, you can even apply for a loan, right? From your mobile app, you can, there's nothing you need to go to do in the banking hall that you cannot do from your mobile app. You can open a bank account from the mobile app without stepping foot in the banking hall. All right? So my
Patrick,
point...
can I just contribute to that shortly? So when you spoke about that, I just remember one of my experiences back when I was working in MTN, and then when you call 180, so they have we have assigned specific seconds that you have to use to a particular customer, and on your own queue you probably have like 400 to 500 people. And by the time, even thousands, depending on the segment where you are. And as it's going, then it was just English, way back. It was just English. And so by the time some of us joined, some of us are very, very, innovative, and we're always looking for solutions and all of that. You probably have answered 1,000 calls. But today, the case is different. We now have all different, just press 1, press 2, press 3, and then your problems are being solved. Now, way back then, I remembered on one of my shifts then that some people call in and we do not understand the languages that they are speaking. Because it was all English, we keep pushing, because I don't understand what the person is thinking, we just call it prank. There was a name we used to call it, but I can't remember it says, and then we don't realize that it's not that these people they have problems, but we did not understand their languages. So during some course of our meeting, we came up, why can't we just have people speaking different languages? If I know this person is speaking Hausa, I don't understand Hausa, why not push it? And before you know it, we now have languages everywhere on all the telecommunication 180 calls, and problems are made. So same thing applying to the banks. So like I've forgotten that your long name, like he said, upskilling, and this AI is not going to take away your job. I'm saying this because while in MTN back then, in fact, we founded modern European language because we now realize there are foreign people calling in, speaking Spanish, French, German, and all of that. And we were like, why can't we? So my hub was more like the thinking hub. Meanwhile, every other person came there, spending 10, 15, maybe 5 years before we got there. And they were okay with using their 180, receiving customer score, and they were very okay with the level they are. So I'm relating this to this AI thing that we're talking about, that you can be very okay where you are, but you'll be in serious deep shit when time comes. Apologize for my language. But we decided to get there, and we tried. We started with modern European language. Now we now have French. Our name was flying everywhere. I don't know if they still have it now though. So this AI has come. If you do not upskill and you yourself, you are not intentional about your success story, about what you want to build in the workplace, you will still be there. AI will take your job most definitely. Thank you. I just wanted to chip that in.
Yeah, I think awesome. Bukola, do you want to you had your hand raised. Do you want to speak up? Do you want to share your question? Okay, Bukola, you typed it. Okay, for someone who is just navigating a HR career, what's advice? What should be the major focus? So it depends on what stage of your career you are at. Are you entry? Are you experienced? Are you C-suite level? So what stage of your career are you navigating? I mean, I've been in HR for more than 15 years now. I can help speak to provide some guidance, but I need to be able to make it resonate with what stage of your career you are at. Okay, I don't have enough information from this question to provide some clarity. Okay, if you could give me some more context, I'll be happy to help. All right. Great. Any other question? Comments, feedback? Okay. Obuza, you have your hand raised. Please go ahead.
Okay, thank you very much. I enjoyed your presentation. My part of services, I'm into agro consultant services, training and facilitation. So my question is that what are some of the AI tools that can help us to promote our business and also facilitation, and also drafting a CV that will suit the line of our consultancy services in the agricultural sector through the use of AI?
You want help in drafting a CV that speaks to your profession, right?
Oh, yes.
Okay, awesome. Do you have a draft of your CV first?
Yes, I have.
You know what I'm going to do? It's obvious that we all need to do one thing first. Do you have a Google Gemini or ChatGPT account?
No, I don't have now. I don't have.
Okay, so that you don't even yet, you don't even. So the first thing I'm going to ask you to do is set up or log in, sign up for a Google Gemini or ChatGPT account. I'm not holding brief. I have both of them and I use both of them differently. But for what I'm going to guide us through, right, I would guide us through using Google Gemini because I have tried it, I've tested it, and I have proven it on Google Gemini. I'm going to try to prove this concept on ChatGPT so that I can give us options. All right. But after this call, the first thing I'm going to advise everybody, set up a profile of yourself on Google Gemini. I will send us the walkthrough. Once I send us the walkthrough via email or on the WhatsApp community, everybody go to your Google Gemini or ChatGPT and give your ChatGPT or Google Gemini an introduction of you. Now, with this self-introduction that ChatGPT or Gemini have of you, when you share your CV with Gemini or GPT, GPT will be able to customize the CV to speak to you as a person. And it will be able to speak to your profession. All right. If after sharing the general walkthrough and any of us need some one-on-one help and consultation, then please feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to help. I'm a HR professional. I've sat down on both sides of the divide, both as a job applicant and it's my job to be an interviewer as well. So I can guide us through on what to look out for, what recruiters look out for, and I can guide us on how to optimize our CV for applicants tracking systems. All right. So, but I'm not going to attend to anybody that has not done the first step by introducing themselves to their generative AI. Okay, your GPT or your Google Gemini. If you've not done it, please don't reach out to me. I will not answer it. Right? Deal? Do we all have a deal? Okay, awesome. Great. So I'll fulfill my own side of the deal. Over the weekend, I will share the walkthrough guide on how to do the introduction to GPT or Gemini or both. All right. And Obuza, okay, no, Obuza just spoke. So it is an old hand. Any other hand? All right. Peace has shared the link to the WhatsApp community or the WhatsApp group so we can join the conversation and continue the conversation over the group on WhatsApp. Also, if there are any subsequent webinars and communication, we can easily get this information on the WhatsApp group. All right. So any other question, comments, feedback? Awesome. So, okay, you're welcome. So great. In the absence of any other question, I think I'm going to, the link is not clickable. PC says the link is not clickable. The WhatsApp link, it's clickable now. It's very clickable. I just clicked it. It's working. It's working. No, the link is very clickable. I just checked it myself. Please, Shubomi, click the WhatsApp link. It's clickable. It's working. It will work. It works. Okay. So, in the absence of any other question, I want to say thank you, everybody, for your time. Okay, Somto, you have your hand raised. I think this will be the last question or feedback before we call it a day. All right, go ahead, Somto. Somto, you can go ahead. Okay. I think Somto is having issues. So if we didn't ask, if you have any question, please join the community, join the WhatsApp group. You can ask, drop your questions there and reach out to me. I'm on the WhatsApp group as well, and we can continue the conversations from there. I want to say thank you to everyone. Thank you for taking out time to join us today. And like I said, this is the first of several conversations we'll be having, the Career Conversations with Patrick series. Thank you all for your time, and I want to say enjoy. Have a great weekend.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Everybody, kindly
Thank you
unmute
very much,
if you
sir.
can
We
to
appreciate.
appreciate
Thank you
Mr.
so much.
Patrick. Thank you so much. So much
Thank
valuable.
you.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
very
Thank
much.
you, sir.
Yes,
Thank
guys.
you.
A lot of value. God bless you, sir.
Thank you.
God bless you, sir.
We
Send
appreciate.
a
God bless
connection
you.
request on LinkedIn.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Good night, everyone.
Thank
Talk
you.
is
Good night, peace. Thank you for moderating the
Thank
call.
you. Thank you, ma.
Yeah.
Good night. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Good night.
Thank you.
Good night, everyone.